Okay, so everything requires an explanation. In this video, whether or not you are a NASCAR fan, you will understand all the rules. So you can understand that NASCAR is way more than a bunch of cars running in circles. If you are new to NASCAR, you might feel like there is too much information out there about the sport. People who watch races often have questions about why the driver with the most points doesn't win, or why there are safety cars. Even though the NASCAR postseason is almost here, it's still a good idea to go over the basics. For instance, once the Las Vegas Motor Speedway kicks off a brand new season of the NASCAR Cup Series, there are 36 races in the Cup Series season, the last of 10 of which make up the playoffs. The outcomes of these contests will determine a victor. The top 16 drivers out of a total of about 40 qualify for the playoffs. Even if they aren't title contenders, many teams use the postseason to fine-tune their cars for the coming year. Each of NASCAR's 3 National Touring Series, the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series, now has its own set of qualifying rounds and season-ending championship races. Well, all of the series start from the same place, but they don't all follow the same set of rules. However, we won't get too deep into the subject at hand because this is a discussion of the basics, and it will take us several days to cover all of the minor NASCAR chaos. What follows is a primer on the scheme's essentials. This season's NASCAR Cup Series race format is a product of modern race organization. Contemporary NASCAR races are divided into segments by green and white checkered flags and caution periods during which the laps are counted. The Coca-Cola 600 has 4 drivers instead of the standard 3 for most races. Every competitor who places in the top 10 at the first 2 stages earn points toward the final standings. The league champion receives 11 points, 10 in the regular season and 2 in the playoffs. The regular season runner-up receives 9 points, but is not eligible for postseason play. During a given season, the race winner receives 45 points. 20 games are played during the regular season, and another 10 are played during the playoffs. The second place finisher will earn 35 points, while the third place finisher will receive 34 points, and so on. Drivers who finish in 37th place or lower receive no points. The driver with the most points at the end of the season receives 15 extra playoff points. In 2018, the champion was Kyle Busch. By the time the playoffs are relocated to Sin City, he is in first place. When a stage's caution comes out, drivers and teams frequently give up places on the track in order to get to the next green flag first. If they've taken the time to learn from their errors, they'll be ready to go when the light turns green again. In the playoffs, this is something that the drivers who aren't aiming for the championship might consider. The Cup Series regular season consists of the first 26 races of the year. The last 10 races of the season make up the playoffs. Not only will you see several oval tracks, but also 2 road courses, Sonoma Raceway and Watkins Glen. Winning a regular season race is a near guarantee of postseason participation. Winners who don't enter any further races until the fall are in violation of the rules. Medical waivers are usually given to drivers who get seriously hurt, like Busch did at Daytona in 2015. This lets them continue racing in the other 11 races and win the championship in the end. The playoffs are closed to those who have not yet won. There will be a total of 40 races over the course of the playoffs, 4 stages. The first 3 acts feature a diverse cast of characters, but the fourth features only one. Homestead Miami Speedway in Florida, which has a 1.5-mile track, will host the 2018 championship race. A 1.5-mile oval will host 8 of the 10 races. The other 4 short tracks are located at Richmond Raceway, Dover International Speedway, Martinsville Speedway, and ISM Raceway in Arizona. Only in Talladega can you race at such high speeds as the track there offers. The other race, albeit on a shorter 1.5-mile oval track, has been held at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the past few years. Since NASCAR couldn't afford to move the postseason races to a road circuit, they went with a roving track format instead. If a driver wins their race, they automatically move on to the next round of the playoffs, unless they are disqualified, in which case the win and its benefits go to the next car and the remaining spots are filled based on points, the same way drivers move on to the playoffs. There are a total of 16 drivers, and there will be 3 events in the opening round of the playoffs. When the checkered flag drops, the 4 drivers who finished last will no longer be in the running for the championship. In the second round of the playoffs, there are 12 drivers and 3 races. According to the final standings, the bottom 4 teams will not be competing for the championship. With the field down to 8, the playoffs' third and final round will consist of 3 additional races. The final 4 will compete for the title. Only 4 race car drivers are left to compete for the championship, and they are all among the best in the world. In the absence of any technical disqualifications, the race winner is considered the winner. The player's final score is irrelevant. They will be victorious if they can beat out the other 3 teams. Due to the current NASCAR rules, all 4 drivers will have to start at the back of the field, making it nearly impossible to predict who will win the championship race. The race's favorite may be disqualified on the very first lap. This could happen if a parachutist falls on one of the racing cars in the final seconds before the race starts. There's no way to know for sure who will win, but it's easy to see who will finish first and who will finish last. On the other hand, there are a variety of ways to find out the real order of finishers. The different parts of a NASCAR season are the regular season, the playoffs, and the championship race. At the end of the season, the driver who has led the most laps is awarded the trophy. When all postseason races have been completed, the winner is the driver who has accumulated the most points. A season's champion is the driver who has the most victories and is qualified for the championship round. If multiple drivers end up with the same number of points at the season's end, the winner will be determined by the most races in which they finished in the top 5. In the event that multiple drivers finish the season with the same number of victories, the number of times each driver finishes in the top 5 will determine the winner. When deciding which drivers move on to the postseason, NASCAR places a premium on regular season victories. How might one improve their chances of victory in a NASCAR race? Some might think that getting to the end of the course quickly is the answer. In most cases, road courses will have you make a right turn, then a left turn. Quality tools and well-designed vehicles are essential for racing success. Beyond your speed and driving skill, there are other considerations. For any given race distance, only 4 starting points are appropriate. It's customary for the person in charge to leave first, and while they wait for the leader to finish, they can make up time on the rest of the pack. In the event that a driver withdraws from the race due to a mechanical issue, the remaining drivers will continue, and their combined finish times will determine the winner. Second, there's a great deal of diversity in the locations across the USA where you can watch a NASCAR event. IndyCar and Formula One races typically take place on oval tracks, yet others are laid out more like a racetrack, complete with hairpin turns and obstacles that need to be navigated at high speeds. Daytona Beach, one of the best-known such courses, combines straight and curved segments. The track's surface determines the car's top speeds and how well they handle them. For instance, cars with small turning circles are nimble in corners but slow on straightaways. So there are a million facts to consider in order to be the best pilot in NASCAR.